Tell me some of ideas of NK Bose. So Praja, where are you? You are in Hyderabad only, right?
Yes, sir. I'm from Hyderabad.
Okay. Okay, Sunil, tell me.
Sir, yeah, he believed that castes are for the social cohesion.
Castes are for social position. Means
Social togetherness. Association of castes, I mean, for the indulgence in occupation, it's a good thing.
what occupational specialization is it?
It's a good thing, like Gandhi,
Okay, why is it so?
because they can be self-sufficiently manage their villages.
That's about village.
Hmm.
Village self-sufficiency is coming from caste. Okay, each caste doing its own occupation and they are interconnected. So decentralized arrangement is possible because of occupational specialization and interdependence, Jajmani system.
Right.
So that is one idea. Next,
He did not see the conflict. He believed that
what did he say about the caste first? What are the positive things he assumed about the caste? He compared it with capitalism.
he compared it with capitalism, where everyone pursues
Uh,
for the betterment.
and here,
Here also castes pursue their own occupation,
uh,
and
he said two kinds of security are being given. What are they?
occupational security
Economic security and
and solidarity.
cultural security.
Cultural security.
Cultural security. Cultural security because they are allowed to be what they are, even after acculturation. Okay. So cultural security, economic security because of absence of competition, cultural security because they are allowed to, and uh, so linked to the society through what they are supposed to do. That is supposed to promote solidarity, social solidarity. Okay. Can you tell me whose idea is this social solidarity? We discussed one thinker.
Correct.
Durkheim.
Durkheim. Durkheim. Durkheim's idea of social solidarity. So units specializing, division of labor, and connected, interlinked with cultural security, economic security, absence of competition, and decentralized, and became a part of larger network. Okay. So Deepika, are you following? Deepika. Why Deepika is at 6 o'clock time not convenient to you? Why are you not attending those classes?
Sir, I've joined some other classes in December for GS.
Okay.
I am following the recorded lectures.
Okay, yeah, that I can. Okay, fine. So, so what do you think is main problem with Bose's idea of caste, Deepika?
Sir,
Hmm.
it is along the lines of
Can I
Gandhi.
tell you something? Okay, please continue. Okay, Deepika. It
It
is
is along the lines of Gandhiji.
exactly. It is along the lines of Gandhi. Okay.
Uh,
Decentralization. Okay, please continue.
so they don't talk about the atrocities as such and how the hierarchy is causing the domination, and
Okay. Okay.
they're only looking at things like untouchability, which are extreme. But there are other aspects as well which are in.
For example, does Bose think that there is no domination in the caste system?
Uh, he says that the negative aspect is hierarchy. Hmm,
Hierarchy includes domination also, right?
but then it is on the lines of Gandhi and trying to justify the functionality.
Okay. By saying positive thing and negative thing and justifying the functionality. Yes, please. So under what will he come? Functionalism or conflict?
Functionalism.
Functionalism. Okay. So basically justifying the caste system in terms of plus and minus. And this minus can be avoided by what are the suggestions that Bose gave to change the hierarchy and the domination?
Uh, support system through the government.
Support system through the government. What kind of support system?
um, Education.
Education, economic development. So basically change the occupation. It will undermine the hierarchy. It will undermine the domination. And in that way, you reform. Okay. Not that he is saying that everything about the caste is good. Domination is banned. Hierarchy is banned. Ranking may not be good, but that can be undermined, changed through economic development. But otherwise, caste is functional, decentralizing, protecting against competition, and cultural autonomy. Okay. I mean, why is it like that? Why Gandhi, who has not studied anything on caste, and Bose, who did lot of work, why would they think in the same way? What is your understanding, Deepika?
Probably he got influenced by Gandhianism and wanted
He was influenced by Gandhi.
to follow most of the aspects of Gandhi's thinking.
Okay, you mean to say he must have been influenced by Gandhi? Okay, that is one possibility. Mm. But why should Gandhi think that way, and why should Bose think Gandhi sensible? Is there something more going on in this thinking?
Mm, Gandhi had some political aspects as well, and
Gandhi
he
had political aspects.
put
Okay.
it together and
Oh,
not. He thought that um, it would create alienation, and he wanted them to stay together.
okay.
His team.
Hmm.
But then that was
I
not what.
mean, because of which he had such views on caste system.
Yes.
Hmm. Any other? M. Vishal. Why are people thinking like this? One is so knowledgeable and another is a leader. Why should they finally think caste system is functional? Okay, positive thing and negative thing can be changed. Why won't they say this in essence is domination, exploitation, and this is bad?
Sir, if we look at
Just one second. Oh, Vishal, okay, Deepika, you want to say? Vishal, you okay? You can continue. Vishal, yeah.
Sir, I think it is because of the way the caste they are born in, and also the feeling that they think that this is integral to the Indian society. It keeps the society intact, uh, and also because of their upper caste roots. So this kind of thinking.
Okay, upper caste roots is one. Okay, upper caste roots one. Anything else? It is Indian.
It is part of the Indian civilization, or it kind of
So how should that affect their thinking if they think it is part of Indian civilization?
as the article mentions that Bose is highly influenced by Gandhi, and Gandhi thinks that Gandhi feels that caste is not inherent to, say, Hinduism.
That's
Uh,
true. But what I'm asking is that why should they think like this? Deepika, you wanted to say something? Do you agree they are thinking like that because they are all from upper caste?
Sir, Indological studies,
Hmm.
and also because of functionality, and the menial jobs will nobody would be willing to do those jobs otherwise.
Okay, that's true. But what I'm asking is that why should they think like this?
Sir, I think they also see some positives. Maybe the positives that they see kind of cloud their judgment. Say
But
the
why
no.
should the positive things cloud the judgment?
Sir,
Why should?
may I?
Sunil, do you have any answer?
Sir, I believe that if they don't do it, their research won't be accepted. They won't be accepted by the public, and no one would give them the respect of anthropologists if unorthodox opinions are taken.
Okay. So essentially, oh, so what are you saying?
I'm saying that if they
Basically,
go against the
it may be that saying that this caste system in itself in every way is bad seem to be a fundamental criticism of Indian society and Hinduism, which they are not willing to criticize. You can say many things are good and some things are bad, but to say the entire thing is bad, or Hinduism is bad, casteism is bad, so that is a position only Ambedkar could take. Others were not in a position to do that. Because they identify themselves with India and Hinduism and upper caste. Three things. To be critical of caste system, to say this is elaborate way to facilitate domination, is to be critical of caste system, Hinduism, Indian civilization. So it is that bold stand I don't think they are willing to take. Stand that Ambedkar took. Not one day would take, but Ambedkar took already. He was critical of the caste, he was critical of Hinduism, critical of Indian civilization. So it is not that the Indian sociologists were influenced by Gandhi and or Radhakrishnan. It is just that all have similar background and similar concerns. To be critical of the caste system is to be critical of everything, which is not easy. Even now, why this Aryan migration theory is very uncomfortable? Because some people came from outside and they occupied the higher levels of the caste system. So, so-called foreigners occupied the higher levels. So then how can these people talk about somebody, some others as outsiders? So I would say these are uncomfortable things about Indian society. Okay. So caste system is formed out of Aryan, non-Aryan, Aryan from outside. There is a racial basis, there is a linguistic basis, there is domination, and religion is created around this. To say the whole thing is to facilitate domination, like a Marxist would say, then it is too radical, too bold. Okay. So all kinds of defenses. Instead of saying this at the very center is unjust. Okay. So talk about economic development, talk about reducing domination hierarchy, but don't say at the very core this is wrong. Okay. Then tell me, if caste system is fine, then how would one view tribe? would he view unfavorably tribes' conversion into caste? If caste system is fine. Is my question clear? I mean,
Yes, sir. They won't view it as bad.
they won't view unfavorably. If caste system is fine, then the tribe's conversion into caste also is fine. So what is the study Bose made in this context? He studied whom? One particular tribe. And what did they become when they became, what were they doing when they became caste?
There were tribes initiative.
Chewing
Yeah.
of
What is the
Colonization.
occupation? Bamboo. Isn't it? Bamboo crafts. So tribe became caste, occupational specialization, and Bose said that others won't compete. So in that sense, they are protected from competition, part of a larger hierarchy. Okay. So these are views of Bose on tribe and caste. Okay. And what did he say about national unity? National unity, or be it ethnicity. How would Bose view ethnicity? Ethnicity is the next topic we are going to do in the next class. Next class is going to be Friday. We are going to do Nagas and Manipur, Nagaland and Manipur. So we are going to start ethnicity, and we will take 4 classes on ethnicity. No, I think 4 topics, but 2 classes. We will cover Naga, Manipur, Assam, and Mizoram. So how would Bose look at ethnicity? He would say nothing at the expense of Indian unity, because he said that the tribes should be developed, but they should not be encouraged to separate. So he believed that Indian state would play a positive role. Okay. Next, what else on Bose? We discussed his theoretical orientation. What is his theoretical orientation? Whom was he influenced by?
Franz Bose and
Franz Bose and Kroeber.
Weber.
Bose belongs to which school? Historical particularism. And Kroeber? Diffusionism. So tell me, before this lesson, where did we come across Bose idea? Where did we discuss Bose before this?
Ghurye. Ghurye.
Where did we discuss Bose before this? Where did we discuss him? In some topic we discussed. He is known for a particular phrase. His book is called that.
I think even Ghurye mentioned about change of occupation.
Change of occupation, fine. We're talking about which phrase Bose used, and he used a particular phrase to talk about tribe to caste. That is the title of his book. What is that? Hindu methods of tribal absorption. Hindu methods of tribal absorption. So Bose talked about Hindu methods of tribal absorption. Okay. Tribes are being absorbed to become part of Hinduism. This is acculturation, absorption. Acculturation, absorption. Hindu methods of tribal absorption. Okay. So anyway, why do we call this person an anthropologist in the first place? What are the qualifications to call him an anthropologist?
Because he completed his PG in
He
anthropology.
completed his MA in anthropology and then
Field work.
he did field work. Next,
He wrote books.
he wrote books. That's it. He wrote books on society, caste. Okay. So having academic background, doing field work on tribe, and writing books and teaching. That is a career of an anthropologist. Okay. And then he being influenced by certain anthropologists. Okay. So that is about NK Bose. Any questions? Okay, fine. Any questions? Otherwise, we are going to Irawati Karve. Irawati Karve. Okay. Tell me, what did you know about, what did we study about Irawati Karve before this lesson? And what did you learn? What is it that we did before this lesson? Where did we come across her? I try to link that lesson with her work.
Kinship system of India.
Okay. Kinship map of India. Kinship map of India. And what did she describe in that kinship map of India? Why is it called a map?
She divided India on basis of language,
Language and
kinship,
region.
and
North,
region.
south, central, and eastern, northeast. So she divided in terms of region, language, and then she found a pattern of transition from north to south. So linguistic division and kinship pattern. Okay. So that is what we read, kinship map of India. That is what we did under gender. Okay. Now from this lesson, can you tell me how she gathered that data? Tell me about her fieldwork. What are the methods she used to finally write a book? Did she do fieldwork? Okay, who will summarize? Sunil, will you summarize? What are the Vishal, can you summarize? What kind of work that Irawati Karve did to finally write a book on kinship organization? For example, how did she do her work?
She went on some field studies.
Exactly. She went on field studies. How frequently?
Occasionally, I guess. Well, she had to manage her family, personal life as well.
Occasionally means how occasionally it was?
2 months.
2 months in a year.
In a
2
year,
months
2
in a year.
months.
Okay. And what is that study called? Intensive or extensive?
Hers is an extensive one.
Because entire India is covered. Fieldwork,
And
extensive method, and then interviewing, questionnaires. Okay.
she took different positions.
Okay. She took different areas of the country. Okay. And what kind of data she collected? For example, when you imagine, what is it that she would be doing in your imagination when she's doing it? What kind of data did she collect?
She took all the data, caste, even the blood samples, if I'm not
Exactly.
wrong.
Blood sample also. Did she take measurements?
Yes, she took measurements for the
Anthropometry.
and
She took blood samples and anthropometric measurements, questionnaires, interviews, traveling, making notes, and coming back. And after coming back, what does she do? She studies some literature and tries to make sense of the data. Okay. So that's how she studied various kinship practices across the regions. But what was the point in taking anthropometric data? Why should anthropometric data be relevant to understand kinship practices?
I guess it was dependent on the racial lines of the
Why? Because caste is related to race. Caste is related to race, and race means anthropometry. Okay. Caste is related to race because Aryan non-Aryan component. So Aryan non-Aryan component gave caste, which is linked to race, linked to this. So it means she connected language, race, caste, kinship practices, and then geography, spatial organization. She described how things were transitioning from north to south and what was happening in the center. Matric cross versus Patrick cross. Okay. So that was her interest in physical aspects. Okay. Finally, she gave a map of India, kinship map of India, giving an intimate account of woman's position. Okay, how women felt in various practices. But do you remember where according to her, patriarchy is more, North India or South India?
North India.
North India. And do you see her description? The village is divided into daughters' village and daughters-in-laws village. I mean, we're daughters groups and daughters-in-law. It is a woman's account of women's issues. It has an intimate account. You feel, I mean, she gives proverbs, folklore, all kinds of things. Because she has an intimate conversation. And she says that she first talks about, I mean, people ask her about her and she gives the details of her family, and then she asks others and then makes notes. So she gave woman's perspective, which means closer, more intimate account. And then after coming back, she studies all kinds of literature, Marathi literature, okay, Hindi literature. And then she tries to make out what actually were those kinship practices. Why were those proverbs there? For example, bride from north, bridegroom from south. What does it mean? Okay. She gave an intimate account. So that is the nature of her fieldwork. And in anthropology, if you are writing about fieldwork, include all these people. Don't think fieldwork means you should include only those Western anthropologists. You can include the practices of these people, the way they conducted fieldwork. Okay. Isn't it, Vishal?
Yes, sir. But
Shweta,
what about sociology, sir?
Hmm?
What about sociology? Can we include all these
In
people?
sociology, fieldwork methods, but in sociology only they asked about Irawati Karve. I'm in these common classes. I'm covering what are relevant to both sociology and anthropology. In sociology, they asked on Irawati Karve and kinship organization, and I'll go through it. They can ask. Anybody who talks about caste, kinship, it comes from sociology. Okay, so there are many questions on. Anyway, okay, that's a good question. Now, see, we answered this difference between north and south according to Irawati Karve. Now include her methods also in your answer, the way she did the work. We discuss the result, but now we know the methods. So you can divide her work into methods and results. We discussed the results before. Now you include the methods also. What kind of a person she is and how did she do. You learn something about the person, his kind of work, and then you can include. That's why we are going to do A.R. Desai and M.N. Srinivas also once again. We will not discuss the theories elaborately, but we'll discuss the background. Okay. Now tell me, Vishal, continue to tell me, what is her theory on caste? Can you summarize her theory on caste? How her theory was different from Ghurye's?
According to her, there were endogamous groups present,
Exactly.
jatis which
Jatis were there.
uh,
Jatis were there, and then
this caste system was superimposed over these
exactly,
jatis.
exactly. So there were endogamous groups before. I find that is an eminently sensible conclusion, because after all, groups are endogamous. It's all about how wide that group is. So there is so many ethnic diversity in India. So there must be endogamous groups, and on those groups, Varna and caste system was superimposed. Okay. And what is the name he gave, and what is normally the name that is used for that closest or smallest endogamous unit? Vishal? Smallest endogamous unit will be called caste or subcaste or Varna?
Smallest would be subcaste, I
Subcaste.
guess.
Okay. So she focused on the study of subcaste. Anthropometry, everything would be useful at the subcaste level. The subcaste is the one that had a common journey. Maybe it migrated from some place and finally got a position in Varna system. So she wants to explore the movement of the subcaste. She is fond of these population movements. So where did they start? What happened to them? And finally, what is their position in the hierarchy? Okay. Physical connections as well as historical connections, anthropometry, and finally how they become part of Varna order. Okay, so it is a movement of subcaste and finally how it becomes part of Varna. Okay, so the idea that the Varna and the caste system is superimposed on pre-existing endogamous groups, okay, is what an issue is. Can you tell me from the article, what are her connections with Ghurye? Did she know her personally? Did she know him personally?
When we were reading about Ghurye, we read that she was a student of Ghurye.
That's true. But here, she did her MA under Ghurye only. Okay, she also belongs to a Brahmin. Ghurye was Saraswat Brahmin and Karve is Chitpavan Brahmin. Both of them are Brahmins. Both Indological approach and both tracing things to Sanskritic texts and explaining unity in diversity through Sanskritic texts. And this is a narrative of Hindu upper caste. Christians in that kinship map of India, there is no mention of Muslims or Christians, and most of it it's most likely to be upper caste rather than lower caste, Dalits and like that. So Indological Sanskrit texts, upper caste, exclusion of Hindus and exclusion of Muslims and Christians. These are all some of the features. Okay. And then racial origin. That also Ghurye believed in. But except that, where did she do her PhD doctorate?
Germany, I guess.
Okay, her supervisor was somebody who had a name in the eugenics movement, which was going on under Hitler's regime. Okay, Hitler was interested in sterilizing people who are supposed to be inferior, and her supervisor was heading one such institution, which would identify the people for sterilization purpose. Okay, so essentially strong racial roots, but Karve did not show any such racial prejudices. Okay, she understood that there is a racial component to caste and varna, and so she was taking anthropometric data. Okay, it can be measurements as well as blood samples, but you don't see any racism in her work. Okay, so that is about kinship organization and caste and subcaste. Okay. Next, Sweta, did you go through this Irawati Karve's article? Sweta?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me her observations on the topics coming under applied anthropology?
I didn't read the material
You didn't read
completely.
that.
I just read half.
Okay, then it was there in the end. Okay, Supraja, what are her observations on various topics coming under applied anthropology?
So even I didn't read the.
You didn't read completely.
Yes,
Sunil?
sir, that end part.
Yes, sir. She talked about
Damn
merge-
displaced.
she talked about linking villages with the towns, with where towns would be the main center.
Merging villages with the towns. That is her view on urbanization. Yes, that is one point. Next. What is another survey she did?
Tribal development also kind of.
Tribal development. And what did she say about tribal development? Assimilation or integration or
they should lead their own way, kind of.
Lead their own way, but should they be helped or not?
They should be helped. They should be educated in their own scriptures, own linguistic,
and in their own mother tongue. So it is neither assimilation nor isolation. Okay, that's true. And then she said something about spatial organization. Okay, spatial organization. Space influences social relations. Okay, that is a question in this year mains also. Settlement pattern in village. Settlement pattern is about spatial organization and how spatial organization influences society. So she talked about that. And what did she say about the damn displaced?
Well,
She talked about
composition
psychological and social reasons, social losses. And so she said compensation cannot be confined to only material compensation. It should be something more. Okay. So definitely these are very advanced ideas. Some of them she was writing in 60s and 50s. So what she said was much more advanced about the displaced, about spatial organization, about her image of urbanization. Okay. So first woman anthropologist. Okay. Tell me again, Sunil, tell me why is she considered anthropologist?
She did field work. She did complete PhD in Germany on physical anthropology.
Okay.
And then she wrote books also.
Okay. And can she be called sociologist also?
Yes, she studied caste also.
He studied caste. He studied
gender also.
Kinship, gender, family pattern. Okay. Whoever studies caste, gender, becomes sociologist also. If one studies only tribes, then anthropologist. Okay. Otherwise, He is sociologist as well as anthropologist. In fact, I am doing from this book. Most of all the thinkers I have done from this book, Anthropology in the East. Okay, so I am doing this. I am giving a summary of this. This is a very insightful account. And I think what we are doing, though this is based on this book, because this book itself is not done by the students or the teachers, what we are doing is in a way pioneering. Okay, so I'm sure that everybody will read this material one day. It won't take much time because it is a summary and very insightful summary. Okay, I mean, they spend so many pages around, it runs into 50, 60 pages. So you have to read the whole book, you have to read the entire chapter and summarize and give a theme. That's what I'm doing. And then I am choosing those points which are relevant in the context of the issues that our examination is raising. For example, approach to tribal development, okay, and caste-related issues, and methodology, fieldwork. So I'm focusing on those elements, because of that you can use a thinker at variety of places.
But in GS also we can use her. GS also we can use her
No,
account.
no, they're too much off. In